What if everything you've ever believed about right and wrong, good and evil, and even your own purpose in life was based on ideas that were never truly your own? From the moment we're born, we are surrounded by teachings and rules. Parents, teachers, religious leaders, and society as a whole tell us what to believe, how to act, and who we should be. We're taught to follow the rules, obey authority, and push down our true desires in order to fit in. But what if these lessons, so deeply rooted in our lives, were not truths at all? What if they were created to keep us in line, to shape us into something easier to manage and control? Imagine for a moment that the world as you know it is based on illusions, stories passed down generation after generation, not to free you, but to limit you. What if you could wake up from that illusion and find your true self, the one that's been hidden under layers of expectation? In the early 20th century, a man named Aleister Crowley began to explore this idea in a very unusual and controversial way. In 1904, while visiting Cairo, Egypt, with his wife Rose, something strange happened. Rose told him she was receiving messages from a spiritual being. At first, Crowley didn't take her seriously. She was interested in mysticism and the occult, but this seemed odd, even to him. Still, her confidence caught his attention. She guided him to the Egyptian museum, where she pointed to a display featuring the ancient god Horus. Without hesitation, she identified this figure as the one communicating with her. This moment became a turning point. Following this strange event, Crowley began receiving a message from an entity called Iwas. For 3 days, he wrote down everything the being told him. The result was a book called the Book of the Law, which became the foundation for a spiritual philosophy known as Thelema. At the center of this philosophy is a powerful statement: "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law." At first glance, this might sound like a call for selfishness or chaos, but it actually points to something much deeper. It's not about doing whatever you want in the moment. It's about discovering your true will, the path you are meant to follow in life. This path is not based on impulse or desire, but on a deeper understanding of who you really are. The idea of true will is key in Thelema. It suggests that each person has a unique purpose in life, something that goes beyond what society expects of them. True will is not about chasing random dreams or living without responsibility. Instead, it's about discovering your real calling and living in harmony with it. When you follow your true will, you move in sync with the universe. Life becomes more meaningful, more connected, and more fulfilling. You begin to experience a sense of inner peace because you're no longer pretending to be something you're not. You're not following someone else's rules, you're following your own truth. This idea was revolutionary and threatening to many traditional institutions. Religions, governments, and educational systems often rely on people obeying rules and accepting authority. If everyone started questioning those rules and looking inside themselves for guidance, those institutions would lose their power. Crowley's message challenged the very core of how people thought about morality, authority, and spirituality. As a result, he was often criticized and misunderstood. Many people saw him as dangerous, rebellious, or even evil. But the real reason for the backlash was fear. When someone challenges the old way of thinking, it creates discomfort. People are afraid to let go of what they've been taught to believe, even if those beliefs don't truly serve them. Despite the criticism, the ideas behind Thelema continue to spread. At its heart, Thelema encourages people to take responsibility for their own lives. It invites them to look within, to ask big questions, and to find their own answers. Instead of blindly accepting what others say is right or wrong, Thelema teaches that each person must find their own moral compass. This doesn't mean rejecting all values. It means creating your own values based on your true will. It's about becoming conscious of your choices and aligning your actions with your deepest purpose. One of the other key ideas in Thelema is the phrase, "Love is the law, love under will." This means that love, like all things, should be guided by your true will. It's not about giving in to every feeling or desire. It's about forming connections that are meaningful and in harmony with your life's purpose. When you live according to your true will, your relationships become deeper and more real. You love not out of fear or obligation, but from a place of truth and alignment. Love becomes a powerful force that helps you grow and helps others grow too. Thelema does not offer a simple or easy path. It asks people to dig deep, to question everything they've been taught, and to take full responsibility for their lives. It's a path of self-discovery that requires courage, honesty, and inner strength. It doesn't hand you a list of rules to follow. Instead, it challenges you to write your own rules, to discover your own truth and live by it. That kind of freedom can be both exciting and terrifying. It means letting go of excuses, facing your fears, and stepping into the unknown. But for those who are ready, it can also be incredibly empowering. In a world filled with distractions, expectations, and pressure to conform, Thelema offers a different way. It says, turn inward. Listen to your inner voice. You don't need anyone else to tell you who you are or what your life should look like. The truth is already inside you. You just have to uncover it. And once you do, you can live with a sense of purpose, clarity, and joy that no one can take away from you. When you live in alignment with your true will, you stop fighting against yourself. You stop trying to fit into molds that were never made for you. Instead, you begin to shape your life around who you really are. Aleister Crowley may have been a controversial figure, but his core message was simple. Be true to yourself. Find your purpose. Live it fully. Don't let fear, tradition, or social pressure hold you back. You have the right and the responsibility to live your life as only you can. That message continues to inspire people today, especially those who feel lost in a world that often rewards sameness and punishes individuality. Thelema isn't about escaping reality. It's about seeing reality more clearly. It helps you recognize the ways in which you've been shaped by others and gives you the tools to reshape yourself. It doesn't claim to have all the answers. Instead, it gives you a compass to find your own. And that might be the most powerful gift of all. Living this way isn't always easy. There will be doubts, challenges, and moments when the old ways feel safer. But once you've seen the truth of who you are, it's hard to go back to living a lie. The journey of Thelema is about awakening, about realizing that you are more than the roles you've been told to play. You are a unique, powerful being with a reason for being here. And that reason is yours to discover. The message of Thelema is not just for mystics or spiritual seekers. It's for anyone who feels the call to live more authentically. It's for anyone who's tired of pretending, who's ready to let go of fear, and who's willing to explore the unknown in search of something real. Whether you believe in gods, spirits, or nothing at all, the principles of Thelema can still offer guidance. They encourage honesty, personal growth, and respect for both yourself and others. They remind you that freedom is not just the ability to do whatever you want, but the power to choose what truly matters. In the end, Thelema is about liberation, breaking free from the lies we've been told and the lies we tell ourselves. It's about learning to trust our inner wisdom and live from a place of truth. It's not a religion in the traditional sense, but a philosophy, a spiritual tool, a way of seeing the world. It invites us to stop sleepwalking through life and to wake up, to take the wheel and steer our own course. So what if everything you believed really was an illusion? What if the rules you followed were never meant to help you thrive, but to keep you small? Thelema challenges you to ask those questions, and more importantly, to live the answers. From the moment we are born, we're taught a version of love that isn't truly love at all. We're told that love means giving ourselves up, that it's about sacrificing our happiness, our dreams, even our identity, to please someone else. We're taught that to love is to submit to lose ourselves, and to put others before us no matter what it costs. The world teaches us that love is something painful, something we owe, something we're supposed to suffer through. It becomes a tool of control, not a path to connection. Many of us grow up believing that if we're not struggling or sacrificing in love, then it must not be real. But this idea isn't love, it's a kind of emotional slavery. The philosophy of Thelema offers a completely different way of understanding love. In Thelema, love is not about submission or loss of self. It's not about giving everything to someone else while leaving yourself empty. Instead, love is about alignment. It's about connecting with your true self and allowing that truth to guide your relationships, your goals, and your way of life. The phrase "love under will" captures this idea perfectly. It means that love should always serve your true purpose, not distract from it. Your relationships, passions, and dreams should support who you are at your core, not pull you away from it. That's why so many people today feel drained in their relationships, stuck in jobs they hate, or disconnected from the people around them. They confuse attachment for love, and they mistake obligation or dependency for a genuine connection. But real love doesn't make you smaller. Real love doesn't ask you to betray yourself. True love lifts you up, supports your growth, and gives you the freedom to become even more of who you are. And this idea applies to all parts of life, not just to romantic love, but to friendships, family, career, art, and spirituality. To live with love under will means that every action you take, every relationship you keep, and every path you walk should be in harmony with your true will, your deepest purpose. If you're constantly struggling or pretending to be someone you're not, if you feel like you're forcing your life to fit into a shape that doesn't feel right, then you're not aligned with your true self. And when you're not aligned, you feel stuck, lost, or unhappy, even if everything seems fine on the surface. That's why Thelema isn't for people who want to follow the rules and stay comfortable. It's for those who are ready to question everything they've been taught and discover who they really are. It asks you to stop looking for approval from others and start listening to your inner truth. It teaches that love isn't about controlling or being controlled. It's about freedom, the freedom to be fully yourself and to allow others to do the same. But Thelema isn't just a set of nice ideas. It's a living philosophy rooted in spiritual experience. Its foundation is the Book of the Law, a sacred text that shares teachings from 3 different divine voices, Nut, Hadit, and Ra Horkut. These aren't gods in the usual sense. They're not beings that ask for worship. Instead, they represent deep cosmic forces, each revealing something essential about who we are and how we can live a free, empowered life. The first voice in the book is Nut. She is the infinite night sky, the endless universe filled with stars. She represents all potential, all possibility. Nut tells us that each person is a star, a unique, radiant being with their own path through the universe. This is more than a metaphor. It's a powerful truth. You are not just a small part of the world. You are your own world, your own light, your own force. Nut's message reminds us that we are already infinite, already worthy, already whole. The only thing holding us back is the illusion that we're not. Hadit speaks next. While Nut is the vast, open sky, Hadit is the point of awareness within it. He is the flame inside every heart, the energy that drives life and action. Hadit represents the spark of consciousness, the deep knowing that lives within each of us. He says that truth is not something you read in books or hear from others. It's something you feel, something you live. Hadit teaches us to stop searching outside ourselves for meaning. Instead, we must turn inward and trust our own experience. That's why Thelema encourages people to reject blind faith and second-hand wisdom. You have to find your own truth, and you have to feel it burning inside you. Finally, we hear from Ra Horkut, the warrior god. He is not gentle. He is not calm. He is the force of action, of change, of destruction when necessary. If Newt gives us infinite potential, and Hadit gives us the experience of truth, then Ra Horkut gives us the power to act on it. He is the fire that burns away lies, the strength that says, I will not live in fear. He challenges us to rise above guilt, shame, and weakness. His message is one of fierce courage. Don't be afraid of what others think. Don't be afraid of fate, of failure, or of standing alone. He reminds us that we are strong and that strength comes from knowing and following our true will. Together, these three forces, Newt, Hadit, and Ra Horkut, form the core of Thelema. They are not just characters in a book. They are symbols of how to awaken. First, by realizing your potential. Second, by discovering your truth. And third, by living it boldly. This is why Thelema is not a passive belief system. It's a call to action, to change, to evolution. But understanding the philosophy isn't enough. Thelema must be lived. It must become part of your daily choices, habits, and mindset. And it all begins with discovering your true will. This is not the same as doing what you feel like in the moment. True will isn't about following every impulse or desire. It's deeper than that. It's about uncovering the path that was meant for you, the purpose that flows through you when all resistance falls away. Finding your true will isn't always easy. It requires a process of letting go of what others told you to be, what you've been conditioned to believe, what society expects. You have to strip away every false identity, every fear-based decision, every borrowed dream. You have to stop asking, what should I do? And start asking, what am I here to do? And the answer won't come from someone else. It will come from within. One of the most useful tools for this journey is a magical diary, something Aleister Crowley himself recommended. This is not just a place to vent or jot down your day. It's a sacred space to track your thoughts, your dreams, your emotions, and your experiences. Over time, patterns emerge. Clues appear. You begin to see what drives you, what holds you back, what calls to you again and again. The noise of the outside world begins to fade, and your true voice starts to speak. But even this inner discovery is only part of the path. Once you begin to know your will, you must live it. Thelema teaches that every act should be intentional. Every decision should come from that deep place of truth. This takes practice. It takes discipline. And that's why Thelema includes spiritual tools like rituals, not as superstitions, but as methods to align your energy with your will. One of the most basic and powerful is the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram LBRP. It's a way to clear out negative influences, focus your mind, and strengthen your spiritual presence. It's not about belief, it's about effect. More broadly, Thelema teaches the importance of spiritual discipline. This doesn't mean denying your desires. It means refining them, understanding them, and directing them toward your true path. Crowley wrote, "Every intentional act is a magical act." This means that everything you do has the power to shape your reality. So you must be mindful of what you say, what you choose, how you act. If something doesn't serve your true will, you must be strong enough to walk away from it. This strength extends to all areas of life. Thelema isn't just about private meditation or mystical symbols. It's about how you live, love, work, and create. In relationships, it means that love should be based on mutual freedom and empowerment. Love should not restrict or possess. If a relationship makes you weaker, less alive, less yourself, it's not love. It's a chain. In work, Thelema demands that you pursue mastery in your craft. Whatever your calling is, follow it with passion, with fire. True will is not lazy. It wants to create, to build, to shine. It pushes you toward excellence because that's what your soul is here to do. In the end, Thelema is not a system of belief. It's a way of being. It's not something to agree with, it's something to live. To align with your true will is to find your freedom, your power, your purpose. The path is not handed to you. You must walk it. You must choose it. Step by step, truth by truth. The book of the law does not offer comfort. It offers a challenge. And that challenge is simple. Will you rise? From the moment you're born, the world starts giving you a script to follow. You're told to be realistic, to play it safe, to stay in line. You're taught to value comfort over growth, approval over truth. Society pressures you to settle, to conform, to obey, and to live by someone else's definition of success, happiness, and morality. But there's another path, a deeper, more personal path. One that doesn't ask for your submission, but instead demands your transformation. This is the path of Thelema, a philosophy that doesn't wait for permission or ask for validation. It dares you to rise. It dares you to become. Thelema tells you something radical, that you are already divine, already whole, and already capable of shaping your own reality. Its central teaching, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law, has been deeply misunderstood. People often mistake it for selfishness or chaos, but in truth, it speaks to purpose. It calls on each of us to discover our true will, our unique path, our deepest purpose, and to follow it without fear or compromise. It's not about doing whatever you want in the moment. It's about doing what you are truly meant to do. And that's a very different thing. Walking this path isn't easy. In fact, it's incredibly difficult. It requires the shedding of everything false, every illusion, every lie you've been told about who you are and what's possible. It requires you to step out of the comfort zone, to stop playing a role written for you by others. To follow your true will, you may have to let go of the people, beliefs, and systems that once gave you a sense of identity. You may have to walk alone. You may be misunderstood. People might say you're selfish or reckless simply because you refuse to live a life of quiet submission. The truth is, most people are too afraid to step into their power. They cling to the familiar, even when it's suffocating. They follow rules that were made to keep them small. They believe that someone else, a church, a government, a parent, a teacher, knows better than they do. They fear their own freedom. Because real freedom comes with responsibility. It means taking full ownership of your life, your actions, and your choices. It means no longer having someone else to blame. And this is why Thelema is so often feared, mocked, or misunderstood. It challenges the entire foundation of control. It tells you that you don't need permission to be who you are, that you don't need to be saved, that you don't need to follow any moral code that doesn't come from within. That kind of message is dangerous to those in power, because the moment people realize they are free, they stop being easy to control. At the center of Thelema stands one of history's most controversial figures, Aleister Crowley. Called the wickedest man in the world, Crowley was a deeply polarizing person. He didn't try to fit in. He didn't try to make people comfortable. He didn't water down his message to please the masses. Instead, he challenged every institution, religious, political, and social, that told people they were powerless. He spoke in symbols, wrote in riddles, and used shock as a tool to shake people awake. And because of that, he was branded a monster. But was he really evil? Or was he simply a threat to the systems built on obedience and fear? Crowley wasn't perfect. He was human, flawed, bold, and often extreme. But the philosophy he shared was not about devil worship, chaos, or selfishness. That's a myth created by those who never wanted you to understand what he was really saying. Thelema is not a rejection of spirituality. It is a deep, personal embrace of it. It teaches that enlightenment doesn't come from someone else's words or rituals. It comes from your own direct experience, your own inner work. your own journey toward truth. Many people misunderstand the phrase, do what thou wilt. They think it means doing whatever you feel like. But Thelema makes a clear distinction. Your true will is not the same as passive desire. It's not about chasing pleasure or avoiding discomfort. It's about finding that one thing, the deep purpose that drives your soul, and aligning your life with it fully. That takes courage. It takes discipline. It takes the willingness to say no to everything that pulls you away from your path, even when it's easier to give in. This is not a journey of indulgence. It's a journey of alignment. True will is not about selfishness. It's about discovering why you are here and then living in full service of that truth. Most people never even ask themselves that question. They live their whole lives by default, never once wondering if the life they're living is actually their own. But once you awaken to the idea that you have a will, a purpose that is uniquely yours, you can never go back. Not really. And that's the challenge. It's one thing to hear these words and feel inspired. It's another thing entirely to live them. Most will not. Most will feel the spark and then push it down, telling themselves that freedom is too risky, that it's easier to stay where they are. But for those who feel something stirring inside, something that refuses to go back to sleep, Thelema offers a path. Not a promise of comfort, but a promise of power. Not a path of followers, but a path of creators. So the real question becomes, what will you do with this knowledge? Because knowing about true will isn't enough. You must have the courage to follow it. Understanding that you were meant for something greater means nothing if you're not willing to break free from the things that keep you small. And make no mistake, those things are everywhere. They exist in your habits, your relationships, your beliefs, and the world around you. This path will ask you to burn away the parts of you that are not real. It will ask you to let go of the safety of fitting in. It will ask you to trust your own voice over all others. But what waits for you on the other side is not chaos. It's not loneliness. It's liberation. This is why Thelema continues to be feared. Not because it's dangerous in itself, but because it threatens the illusion that so many depend on. It reveals that much of what you've been taught about morality, destiny, and spirituality is not the truth. It's a system designed to keep you obedient. When you believe that your worth comes from outside yourself, you will spend your whole life trying to earn it. But when you realize that you are already divine, already enough, you stop being easy to control. Thelema doesn't ask you to worship anyone. It doesn't ask for blind faith. It doesn't offer you salvation. It shows you that you don't need it. You were never meant to be saved. You were meant to awaken. You were meant to create. You were meant to become. Now that you've seen through the illusion, you're standing at a crossroads. You can go back to the comfort of the familiar, or you can take your first step towards something real, something raw, something true. This choice is not for everyone. It's for the few, the brave, the ones who are done pretending, the ones who are tired of being told who they are and what they can be, the ones who are ready to stop asking for permission and start living in alignment with their highest self. So ask yourself, are you ready? Are you ready to stop living by someone else's rules? Are you ready to stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable? Are you ready to break free from the story that was written for you and write your own? If the answer is yes, if something inside you is saying finally, then don't let this moment pass. Don't let the fire fade, because this is only the beginning of a journey that leads not to a destination, but to your becoming. You were not put here to serve. You were not put here to obey. You were put here to become, fully, freely, and without fear. And now, the choice is yours.